I've noticed that when it comes to rules, there are two kinds of people. There are those who break the rules, and then there are rule followers. I'm a rule follower. I like to know the rules, and then I want to keep them. I don't want to be caught not keeping a rule that's been set out for me. But the truth is, we absolutely need to break a few fashion rules. Hello ladies, I have a big one for you today. We are talking about some of those fashion rules that we need to re-examine them. And first of all, we need to figure out who made these rules. And sometimes it's just that we made them up in our head, and we're going to address those today. But my name is Kay. If you are new here, I am so glad you have found your way here to Dress for My Day. I am 57, and my goal here is simply to help women, mostly in our 50s and above, to get dressed for our day so that we can show up in a big way. I want us to remain relevant and a part of this world. I want us to keep our voice and to have some input. So that's my goal here. If that resonates with you, I hope you'll keep showing up here. Hit that subscribe button before you leave so that you'll get a notification each time I upload new videos, which is usually once or twice a week these days. But let's get back to today's topic. We're talking about fashion rules. And let's understand, first of all, that there's a difference. There are two kinds of rules. There are those fashion rules that, I don't know, somebody way back when came up with, or maybe we just created in our mind, or maybe it has to do with the culture that we grew up in, or the part of the world that we grew up in. And so we have these rules in our head about fashion, and those rules we really need to re-examine, okay? And that's what we're really going to be talking about today. But there are also some rules, and what they are, they're really guidelines to help us dress in a way that is like the best for us, right? So I'm all for those kinds of rules. I'm for the kinds of rules that say, for instance, that if your proportions are such that you have a long torso and you have short legs, then you want to do a few things to maximize your legs, to really lengthen your legs and shorten your torso and balance out your proportions a little bit. Those kinds of rules are very handy, and I encourage you to know the rules that work for you and to stick with them as much as you want to so that you can look your best. I'm all for those kinds of rules. And really, I found that one of the ways to know the difference is that those rules are very individual, right? They're going to have to do with your proportions, your body shape, maybe your coloring. But there are just some rules hanging around out there that we absolutely are going to debunk today. Let me tell you a few reasons why I think this is so important. There are three things I think we need to consider that these rules that either somebody else made or that we've put on ourselves, they're really messing us up. And the first of all is just that they really may be cramping your style. They may be keeping you from being trying something new and trying something really current and just stepping out of the box a little bit. And we want to be able to do that. Secondly, when we just keep rules and we don't know why, or we haven't re-examined them, it can really keep us from being creative. And you know what? Fashion is all about being creative. It really is. I mean, yes, it's a little bit of science. It's a little bit about knowing your shape and knowing your proportions. But it's also about being creative. It's about expressing yourself and who you are and how you think and how you feel about the day even, and what you think about where you are and who you're with. And so we need to be able to be creative. And so some of these rules are keeping us from being creative. And then the third thing that I've noticed that some of these rules are keeping us from doing, or they're actually making us do, is they are creating in us a critical spirit. I notice that sometimes if we get a rule in our head and we think, well, that's just the way it is, then we are evaluating other people critically based on faulty information. And I don't know about you, but first of all, I don't want faulty information to rule my thinking. And then secondly, I don't want to be critical of other people. I don't want a critical spirit. here at my channel, we talk about being gracious and aging gracefully. And when we have a critical spirit because we think we have these rules in our heads that they're not following, then we get critical, and that's ugly, ladies. That's ugly, and I don't want to be that way, and I know you don't either. So let's talk about those 5 rules that I think we should break. Number 1 is, the rule is, so to speak, you can't wear horizontal lines. Guess what? You absolutely can. I actually believe that everybody can wear some horizontal lines if you just know how. First of all, if, like myself, you have an hourglass shape, and that does not mean that I think I'm built like Marilyn Monroe, because I'm not. But if you have an hourglass shape, it simply means that you have that, your proportions of your shape are that you're wider at the top, then you narrow down, you have a defined waist, and then you broaden out again. Then you can wear horizontal lines to your benefit because you show off that enviable hourglass shape. And even if you're carrying a little bit more weight than you want to, curves are beautiful on a woman. So when we can wear those horizontal lines to accentuate our curves, to accentuate that hourglass shape, to show that you have a waist, then you absolutely can and should wear them. But even if you do not have an hourglass shape, if you have more of a straight shape like an H or an I, or you have more of an oval shape like an O or an apple, then you can wear horizontal lines too. You just might want to be a little bit more careful about how you wear them. The great way to wear horizontal lines, if you have that t-shirt, that Breton t-shirt in your wardrobe, those Breton stripes, then you can wear them under a cardigan or under a blazer. And hey, at this time of year, lots of times we're layering on things like jackets and sweaters. So it's a great time to wear those horizontal lines. So don't be completely afraid of wearing those horizontal lines, and I just know that so often women just hear a rule like that and they think that nobody should wear horizontal lines. And that's not true. Rule number 2 that I think we absolutely should break is you shouldn't wear that color. And I don't know what that color is for you, but somebody somewhere along the way told you, oh, you can't wear that color, or you can't wear those certain colors, or you can only wear these colors. Let me tell you something. If there's a color out there that brings you joy and you want to put it on your body, you absolutely should. Because first of all, colors can make you so happy. Even deep, dark colors, black makes me happy. I love to wear black. And I've heard so many people say, when you're over 50, you can't wear black. It's just too harsh. You know what? I love black. I'm going to wear black. And there's no rule that tells me I can't. Now, do I need to be wise about it? Do I need to add some light around my face? Maybe lighten up my makeup a little bit or match my lipstick intensity to the black? Sure, there are things I can do, but you absolutely can wear any color. First of all, if you have a color you love and you don't think it looks good on your face because you're trying to be wise and you want to dress in a way that makes you look your best, then wear that color down below. Like here, I'm wearing some suit pants that I have. This color is not necessarily great around my face, although I do have the matching jacket. But I love wearing this rust colored pant. I love rust. That's a beautiful color to me. But I can wear it down below, wear a sweater up top that really does look great on me, that really brings out my eyes and brings out the coloring in my face. I can even bring that color up to the top a little bit if maybe I just also blend in some other colors that really balance it out, like in a scarf. I can still have some rust in a scarf. I can wear that, and you can too. So I am a firm believer in like maybe limiting the colors in our wardrobe just for like budget's sake and for sanity. But you don't have to limit the colors in your wardrobe because somebody told you you can't wear that color. Throw that rule out. Rule number 3 that we need to address is your pants have to meet your shoes, or they have to be some other arbitrary length. I am constantly hearing, especially, I just have to tell you, don't boo me. I just have to tell you that I hear from a lot of older women that your pants are too short, or your pants need to touch your shoes, or your pants need to touch the floor, or whatever. Pant lengths are constantly changing. They are constantly in flux. And you absolutely can wear pants of all different lengths. Now, are there some lengths that are going to look more flattering than others? Yes, because one of the kind of the scientific rules of fashion is that we want to create pleasing proportions. And I'll link you to a video up here about where I shared with you how to figure out your proportions, and then I'll give you a link below to a couple of posts at my blog about how to dress your proportions. So yes, there are some pant lengths that look best on you maybe, or look worse on you, but pant lengths are very arbitrary. Right now we're seeing lots of cropped length pants, ankle length pants, we are seeing full length pants, but even what a lot of retailers, a lot of brands are calling their full length pants are hitting shorter than what maybe you're used to, or what you grew up with, or what you thought of originally. And let me go ahead and address something. I think one of the reasons, and I've thought a lot about this, one of the reasons I think sometimes women get hung up on rules about pant lengths, it has to do with some thinking way back in our childhood, when maybe we saw another child and their pants looked really short. And back then, yeah, most everybody was wearing long pants. And you saw a child with their jeans were too short, or their trousers were too short. And maybe you said something to your mom about it. You said, "Mom, I saw, Susie and her pants are just too short." And your mom said, "Shh, don't you criticize Susie. They don't have much money, and she wears hand-me-downs, and they can't replace those pants right now." And so the connotation we got with short pants is they can't afford to buy long pants, or to buy new pants that are long enough. So somewhere along the way, we got this hang up thinking that ankle length pants, cropped pants, mean you are poor, or like you can't afford long pants. And you know what, ladies, we need to throw that memory, throw that connotation, throw that association out. We've got to rewrite that tape in our mind. And here's what the tape needs to say. Pant lengths are arbitrary. They are constantly in flux. They're constantly changing. Fashion pant lengths are always changing. Now, we cannot like a certain pant length. That's okay. But there are no rules about the length your pants need to be. Now, if you do wear shorter pants, there are ways to handle that, right? Like if you want to wear a cropped pant, then I suggest you wear a nude colored shoe or bootie or sandal or whatever. And if you want to wear longer pants, but they don't quite meet your shoe, and you want to wear socks, then I suggest that you wear those socks as an accessory and not as an underwear. There's a difference. When our socks are not meant to show, we want to wear the same colored socks as our shoe or our trouser. But if our socks are clearly going to show and we're wearing kind of like an ankle length pant, a low ankle length pant, then I suggest you bookend your look by wearing the same color sock as you do in your sweater or your top. That's very fashionable, and that's definitely an on-trend way to wear those shorter length pants. The next rule that we need to throw out for once and for all is don't mix prints. Guess what? You absolutely can mix prints. In fact, mixing prints is still very on trend right now. Now, I do think this is one of those things that kind of comes and goes as far as the trends, but right now, mixing prints is very in fashion. And one of the easiest ways to mix prints is perhaps to wear like a striped top and an animal print belt, or animal print shoes and plaid pants. So you can mix those different kinds of prints. I'd be very careful about mixing florals with florals or plaids with plaids. That's where it gets kind of tricky, and we probably ought to leave it to the fashion editor at Vogue to do that. So I do see people doing that. So there's not a rule against it, but I do think it takes a little bit more skill to mix plaids with plaids or florals with florals. But if you want to mix like a floral top with a plaid belt or an animal print belt, or a plaid top with a snake print, or something like that, that is very on trend. It's very on trend to mix stripes with plaids or stripes with florals. So if you'll think about those distinct kinds of prints and mix one or two or maybe three of those, I kind of think sticking with two is probably like what most of us are going to want to do, but you absolutely can mix those prints and have fun with it. And then rule number 5 that we really need to clear up, especially since most of us who have gathered here are in our 50s and above, that rule is women of a certain age should not wear the trends. Yes, we can. Remember, once again, fashion is meant to be a creative outlet. It's art. It's an expression of yourself. And it also should be constantly evolving, right? We don't want to get stuck in a fashion rut. I think of like in Downton Abbey. Are you a Downton Abbey fan? I'm a big fan of Downton Abbey. And I remember the Dowager Countess. She was the older woman in the show. And remember how her fashions just stayed the same all the way through the years of Downton Abbey? She was wearing basically the same taffeta, long, full-length gowns with all the flounces and all the ruffles and the high-neck Victorian look from the start of Downton Abbey to the end of Downton Abbey. We don't want to do that. We want to be like those other beautiful characters in Downton Abbey whose fashion sense evolved over the years as fashion changed. And so that means that we are going to have the freedom to participate in trends. Now, here's what I kind of think is if you want to participate in the trends and you want to do it though tastefully and you don't want to look like you're trying too hard or you've gone off the deep end, then you can balance that by maybe just wearing one trend in an outfit and keeping everything else classic. So maybe wearing those classic blue jeans, a classic cashmere sweater, and some really trendy moto boots with a lug sole, or wearing that classic jeans, classic sweater, and then that trending moto jacket, that leather jacket with all the belts and the brass and all the ornamentation going on. That's a little trendy. So maybe just wear one trend and everything else kind of classic. I think that's a great way for the older woman to do it. But I'm not going to put a rule on you. If you want to wear 2 or 3 trends at a time, you go for it, girl, because fashion should be fun. Now, those are my 5 rules that I think we need to throw out, not just for ourselves, but for other people, because we don't want to look at other people with a critical eye and say that they're not following the rules when we're not even sure. Are they really good rules to have to begin with? Let me know if there are other rules that you think we need to break. Let me know that in the comments below, and I welcome your comments today. I absolutely do. If you can give them with a smile on your face and a gentle voice the way I've tried to deliver this to you. Be gracious down there in those comments, ladies, as I've been trying to be gracious with all of us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you again next week.